and welcome to today's speed build. So previously I said I wanted to do more restricted pack builds, so this one is only cottage living and Discover University. I thought I would change the world that I was building in, so I'm building in Brightchester today. I don't think I've ever built here before, and this lot is the Darkwing house. The description of this lot says that the founder of Brightchester used to live here, so I thought I would try and stick with the lore, I guess, and try and come up with like a story for this one. I haven't really come up with a story for some of my previous builds, and I used to do that quite a lot. So this one I thought maybe could have been like an old schoolhouse. That was kind of the idea that I had with it. And I thought maybe this was an original building in this world, and I don't know, whoever came up with the university, Felix Sided, I think is the the sim name. And maybe, you know, this was his house. It was an old caretaker's house for an old school, and you know, the university just kind of grew from this one lot. So this idea I had, in my old primary school, there was like a caretaker's lodge, and there was like a pond and a willow tree, which is no longer there. But I don't know, I liked the idea, so that was kind of where I went with it. I didn't really have any kind of inspiration for this. I spent a couple of hours trying to come up with like a decent shell, and then the rest of it kind of just came together really easily. I really like the shape of this house. I did kind of struggle with the wall, what's it called, like the brick, the wall tiles, the blocks, because I wanted them to be different, slightly different textures, different colors. And then when it came to that back piece that you saw me decorating there with the chimney, I realized that it was kind of like an odd number of bump outs, so that I needed to find like a third wallpaper, a third brick to put on here. So I ended up going with the one that I used on the chimney. I changed out this floor and like the stairs and things on the front area, I think after I've finished recording, because I didn't really like what it looked like. It was a little bit too bright for me. So these are, I think they're fence pieces from the Cottage Living debug menu. I really liked the look of them. They kind of just looked really old, and I don't know, they just fit. So I pretty much did the floor plan as I was building. So this is a 2-bedroom house. I figured that the sim who lived here maybe is a professor and they have a family here. There's 2 beds in like the children's room, so I thought maybe they have like 2 children, or you could use it as like a student home if you wanted to, just as like a 2-bedroom house. You could probably change, actually no, I think both rooms have ensuite, so you don't need to change anything. You can just have it as, you know, a 2-bedroom student house. So we're moving on to the landscaping now. I add a little pond in here. It is pretty small. I don't add like a fishing spawner or anything, but I do add a couple of the other spawners. So I think there's frogs and maybe some ducks. I was looking at the like pond that we have next to this lot, and I tried to recreate kind of what it looks like with the different reeds and grasses, and it took me ages trying to find the water lilies in the debug menu that were the exact ones. But I wanted it to kind of look like maybe at some point the river had overflowed and kind of collected in a little pocket on this lot, and then since then the water level has like receded, so it just left this tiny little pond here. So I wanted it to look almost exactly the same. I do wish that there was a little bit more like decoration on the outside of this lot that would kind of make it tie in a little bit better, because there's such a big gap behind this lot and the rest of the decoration. If I went like, once I'd filled this lot up, it then looked a little bit strange. I I don't know, I said before, like, I know I can do it with a tool and do it myself, but I'm not going to share my save file, so, you know, it kind of just seems a bit pointless. Well, the reason why I don't want to share it is because it's obviously very, very rough and unfinished, but it kind of seems like it's a little bit too late in the game to share something. There's a lot of lots that I don't particularly want to work on, and, you know, lot types that I don't want to do. Maybe, you know, if we ever get a Sims 5 and it's possible to do this sort of thing and share save files, then I might start working on it like right from the beginning. That kind of makes more sense, but as of right now, like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So I really like the fact that the windows on these two packs pretty much match color, like completely, like the swatches are pretty much the same. The only thing that did kind of bother me, which has nothing to do with university at all, I was trying to match the red door to like a couple of other red accent pieces on the inside. Like, you can see the flowers, like the red colors just, I don't know, they just don't quite match properly, and it kind of just annoyed me a little bit. I did add the holly tree for like another little piece of red on the outside, but most of it is just green. I do add the roses and the foxgloves and a couple of other different flowers, but mostly I just stick to, like, I think cottage living plants. I think there's one from Discover University, like one plant that I've used, but yeah, most of it I think is cottage living. So this forecourt area out here, I had in mind as sort of like, could have potentially been a playground. I'm not sure what schools are like in other parts of the world, but in the UK, when I was, you know, in primary school and my parents would come and pick me up from school, they would always wait in like the playground area. So that's what I was kind of thinking for this. I was going to put like maybe patio furniture or something out there, but it just didn't really make sense. I did think about making it into a driveway, but then if you look at the roads either side of this house, they're kind of blocked off, so no cars can get through, which I guess makes sense being on a campus. So in the end, I just put some, I think they're like bollards, and used it as like a bike rack. I put some bikes there, and then I just kind of filled the gaps in with potted plants. So for activities and things, I've put a jungle gym out here and two like farming plots, like little dirt patches. You can change it up and put whatever you like in here, but that kind of made the most sense to me. I thought, you know, being an old schoolhouse, then they probably have like a playground area or like a little nature area, which is what my school did have. It had like a little play area, and then the pond was like for like science class and stuff. So that's kind of what I was thinking, you know, somewhere to play, and then there's somewhere to, I don't know, learn about nature and learn about gardening. I just thought it was a nice kind of outdoor area, and there's a little bit of everything. The only thing that there isn't is a bench. I did think about putting a bench under the tree, but once I'd done all of the landscaping and everything, it kind of just didn't fit. So I put the bench, as you saw earlier, underneath the window in like the forecourt area. I really like these fence pieces. I've used them, I think, in every build since Cottage Living was released. But they just look so, I don't know, maybe not natural, but I don't know, yeah, they do. They do look natural. You know, broken fences is kind of normal. So this piece of the pond here where I put the tadpole spawners, I really liked the little corner that I made with the, I don't know what plant that is, like the grasses. I don't know. But I thought it was really nice where you could kind of just look over and see all the little tadpoles. And I thought if there's no fish in this pond, which I said I haven't put a fish spawner, then there's nothing to eat the tadpoles. So they would actually survive. I cover pretty much the entire lot in these grass pieces, and I will continue to do that forever because I love them. and they just make so much sense. I carry on with a little bit of landscaping. I do kind of section off this area a little bit later with some more fences and like a little gate. It didn't make sense to me to have a playground area open, so I end up putting like a fence across there. There isn't like an actual gate on there, but I've kind of made like a makeshift gate. But yeah, I do love these rose bushes. I think I would have liked maybe some white ones or some yellow ones, but the three that we have are really nice. I put these mushrooms everywhere. These ones are from Cottage Living. I don't know why I didn't use the university ones, but I think they're pretty much exactly the same. So I put lots of these grass pieces everywhere, like these bigger ones. I did kind of struggle with these super large pieces because I just wanted it in the like a smaller area, and the one that I used on the other side of the house kind of stuck out into the road, and that just doesn't look right. So this is the little gated piece that I was talking about. It's not really a gate, it's just kind of looks like a gate. But yeah, like I thought it made sense to have like a gated area in this bit. If it used to be a playground, then it would have eventually it would have at one point had a gate on it. So I just kind of fill in the gaps, I guess, with the terrain paint. I don't really use too much of it on this one. Usually I go a little bit like paint heavy and like shade the entire lot in, but this one I just kind of put a little shadow around the outside and underneath where the dirt is, and kind of just left it at that. I was going to completely, you know, landscape all the way around the build, but that didn't really make any sense either. So we are going on to the inside now. I started off using this red kitchen because I wanted it to kind of match the front door, but it doesn't really. The red door is a little bit of a softer color than this one. I tried out white cabinets and that didn't work, so we end up going with the brown swatch. I would like to have had like, I don't know, like a curtain swatch option because if I could have had red curtains instead of yellow ones, then that would have been perfect, but the red ones match perfectly fine too. I tried to use a combination of furniture from each pack, but I think I ended up going with quite a lot of Cottage Living, which, I mean, you can't blame me. It's a really nice pack, as a lot of people will probably share my opinion. But I don't try and clutter up this kitchen too much. I've said previously that I wanted to try and keep some of the counters free for the interaction of like cooking together, because each sim obviously needs their own counter space. So I think there's 3 counter spaces free in this. I'm not sure if you can use these pieces with the stools as like cooking space. I end up moving them up onto the platform and deleting the bar stools. It just kind of looked a bit awkward to me that they were so far away from the rest of the kitchen, so I wanted them to kind of make it look like they were actually in the kitchen. So there's a small dining area here. I really like the Discover University dining chairs, and I use a Discover University desk chair for here as well. I ended up putting quite a lot of the what are they, like certificates and things above the desk, which I think is really nice. I wanted to use this base game chair with the Cottage Living sofa. I thought they kind of matched quite well, not so much in color but like in the style. I thought they looked really good. I do go back in after I've finished recording to do the bathrooms and add some final decoration pieces. I kind of didn't think it was necessary to include the bathroom since they're both exactly the same. And you'll probably see them if I decide to add some overview shots or something. I've done that previously. I'm not sure whether it really is necessary, but I know it helps me if I'm trying to figure out like where everything is. It does help me to see the layout and everything, especially if somebody wanted to like recreate this for themselves, then they know where I've positioned rooms and things. So this was the main bedroom that I had in mind. I thought this was probably where the teachers or the professor maybe slept. I did struggle with curtains for this window in particular, because the one curtain that we have with cottage living is the wrong shape and size for this window, unfortunately. But once we move into the second bedroom and I'm trying to figure out the curtains in this room, then I kind of come up with a solution. So I really like these beds from Discover University. I think they match really well with the furniture from Cottage Living. The swatches are really good. I do kind of wish we had different bed sheet swatches, but I still think they look cool. So this is kind of what I ended up deciding to do with these curtains. They're for the wrong wall height, but the curtain swatch is a really nice color, and you know, with a little bit of tool mod magic you can turn it into a really nice curtain once you've lowered it down. The window in the lounge room for some reason would keep going invisible, and it done it so much that it was driving me a little bit, yeah. But if you download it, then the window will probably be glitchy like that. So in here I don't really add too much. This is pretty much the only toys I add. I hide this little light behind the dresser because I don't like the monsters under the bed, but I didn't want to like have it on display. Anyway, we are coming to the end of the video now. I really hope you have liked this video. Let me know what you think down below, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I would love to see you here next time, so yeah, hopefully I will. Bye everyone.